malicious compliance foster daughter called me dad to escape Stalker, so I destroyed him. The word hit me like a freight train. Dad, please, I just want to go home. Emma's voice was barely above a whisper, but it cut through the chaos of the mall food court like a blade. Her hand was trembling as she gripped my arm, and for the first time in 2 years of fostering her, she wasn't pulling away from my touch. She was anchoring herself to it. Standing 3 feet away was the reason why. Tyler Morrison. 19 years old, 6'2", with a kind of predatory smile that made my skin crawl. Emma had told me about him months ago, the ex-boyfriend who couldn't take no for an answer, who'd already violated 2 restraining orders, who'd been kicked out of her school for harassment but somehow kept showing up anyway. Come on, Emma, Tyler said, his voice dripping with fake sweetness. Don't be like that. You know we belong together. Stop playing house with this old man and come talk to me. Emma pressed closer to my side. In 2 years, she'd never once called me dad. Not even close. It had been, hey, or foster guy, or my first name when she was feeling generous. The kid had been through 4 foster homes before mine, and trust wasn't something that came easy to her. I'd respected that distance, even when it stung. But now, faced with this piece of garbage who'd been making her life hell, she called me dad. And something absolutely primal awakened in my chest. She asked you to leave her alone, I said, keeping my voice level but letting steel creep into it. Multiple times. Multiple restraining orders. So I'm going to ask you once, politely, to walk away. Tyler laughed, actually laughed, and took a step closer. Or what? You'll call mall security. The cops. Been there, done that, old man. They can't do shit to me. He wasn't wrong, and we all knew it. Emma had been dealing with this nightmare for 8 months. Police reports, restraining orders, incident reports from her school and her part-time job at the bookstore. Nothing stuck. Tyler came from money, his daddy was some hotshot lawyer who kept getting the charges reduced or dismissed. The system was failing my daughter. My daughter. When had I started thinking of her that way? Tyler, please, Emma whispered, and I could hear the exhaustion in her voice. The bone-deep weariness of a 16-year-old girl who shouldn't have to be afraid to go to the mall. Just leave me alone. Never gonna happen, babe. You know you're mine. That's when Tyler made his first real mistake of the day. He reached for Emma's free arm. I stepped between them so fast that Tyler actually stumbled backward. Don't touch her. For just a second, something flickered in Tyler's eyes. Maybe he remembered that despite being in my 30s, I was still in pretty good shape. Maybe he realized that threatening a man's daughter, and she was my daughter, I realized with crystal clarity, wasn't the smartest move he could make. But then his trademark smirk returned. What are you gonna do about it, foster dad? You think you scare me? Tyler pulled out his phone and held it up. Smile for the camera. I'm gonna post this everywhere. Show everyone what a psycho you are. Maybe get you investigated by CPS. Wonder what they'll find when they dig deep enough. Emma's grip on my arm tightened. That was Tyler's second mistake. His third was what he said next. Tyler's smirk widened as he started recording. You know what, Emma? I've been way too nice about this whole thing. But since you want to play happy family with Captain Cybersecurity here. My blood went cold. How the hell did he know what I did for work? Oh yeah, Tyler continued, noticing my expression. I know all about you, Marcus Webb. 35, works for Data Shield Solutions, makes decent money protecting companies from hackers. Lives at 847, Maple Street in that cute little 2-story house with the blue shutters. Emma's bedroom window faces the backyard, doesn't it? Emma made a small, terrified sound. You've been watching the house, I said, my voice deadly quiet. I've been watching everything, Tyler said, still recording. Following her to school, to work, tracking her social media. Did you know she deleted Instagram last month? That hurt my feelings. Made me have to get creative about keeping tabs on my girlfriend. Ex-girlfriend, Emma whispered. No such thing, babe. We just took a little break while you figured out this foster care thing. Tyler's eyes never left his phone screen. But I'm done waiting. You're coming with me today, or things are going to get really unpleasant for both of you. The threat was clear, and I could feel my carefully controlled anger shifting into something much more dangerous. This wasn't just some lovesick teenager anymore, this was a predator who'd been conducting surveillance on my home, on my daughter. You need to stop recording and leave. Now, I said. Actually, I think I'll keep recording. This is great stuff. Foster dad threatens innocent young man just trying to talk to his girlfriend. You know how this looks, right? Tyler took another step closer. Especially when my dad's firm files the harassment charges tomorrow. Funny thing about restraining orders, they work both ways. My mind was racing. Tyler wasn't just escalating, he was playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers. He'd done his research, knew exactly which buttons to push, and had clearly planned this confrontation. The recording wasn't just for social media, it was evidence for whatever legal play his father was cooking up. Here's what's going to happen, Tyler continued, his voice taking on a harder edge. Emma's going to come with me for a little chat. Just to catch up, clear the air. And you're going to stand here and let it happen, because if you don't, I've got enough dirt to make your life very complicated. CPS investigations can take months, you know. Where do you think Emma goes while they're deciding if you're fit to foster her? Emma was shaking now. Marcus, please don't let him. She called you Marcus, Tyler interrupted with a cruel laugh. Not dad this time. Guess the magic wore off quick. Face it, Emma, this guy's just another paycheck foster parent. He'll throw you to the wolves the second it gets inconvenient. But Emma surprised us both. Her voice was still shaking, but it was filled with determination when she spoke. You're wrong. He's not like the others. She looked up at me, her eyes fierce despite her fear. Dad won't let you hurt me. Dad. Again. Tyler's expression darkened. Wrong answer, babe. He stopped recording and put his phone away, then reached into his jacket pocket. For one heart-stopping moment, I thought he might be armed. Instead, he pulled out a thick manila envelope. Photos, he said simply. Taken with a very nice telephoto lens. Emma getting dressed, taking showers, sleeping. Amazing what you can see from the right tree in your backyard. Emma made a choked sound. That's when I knew Tyler Morrison had just made the biggest mistake of his worthless life. The envelope felt like it was burning a hole in the space between us. Tyler's smile was triumphant, predatory. He thought he'd won. He had no idea what he'd just unleashed. Those photos are illegal, I said, my voice steady despite the rage building in my chest. Distribution of intimate images of a minor is something I'd never do, Tyler interrupted smoothly. These are just for my personal collection. Insurance, you might say. Unless, of course, someone makes me angry enough to accidentally lose control of where they end up. Emma's breathing was getting shallow. I could feel her starting to panic beside me, and that made my own fury burn hotter. This sick bastard had been violating her privacy for God knows how long, and now he was using it as leverage. The thing is, Marcus, Tyler continued, I've been thinking about our situation, and I realized I've been approaching this all wrong. See, I kept trying to work within the system. Restraining orders, court dates, playing by the rules. But the rules are rigged against guys like me. Guys like you, I repeated slowly. Yeah. Guys who actually love their girlfriends enough to fight for them. While beta males like you swoop in and try to play hero. Tyler's mask was slipping now, revealing something uglier underneath. But I've learned that sometimes you have to get creative. He pulled out his phone again, but this time he wasn't recording. He was scrolling through something. Did you know that Data Shield Solutions has been having some cybersecurity issues lately? Funny thing about working in tech, you make enemies. Hackers, disgruntled former employees, foreign actors. Any one of them might decide to target a mid-level security analyst. My blood ran cold. What did you do? Me? Nothing. But hypothetically, if someone wanted to make your life complicated, they might start by compromising your work systems. Maybe plant some questionable files on your company laptop. Child pornography is a real career killer, I hear. Emma gasped. He can't do that. Can he? Tyler's smile widened. Oh, sweet Emma. You have no idea what I can do. My dad's not the only one with useful connections. Amazing what you can accomplish when you have the right motivation and unlimited resources. He was right, and we all knew it. I'd seen frame jobs before, they were disturbingly easy to execute if you had the right technical knowledge and access. A few planted files, an anonymous tip to the FBI, and my life would be over. Even if I could eventually prove my innocence, the damage would be done. I'd lose my job, my security clearance, my ability to foster Emma. Here's how this is going to work, Tyler continued. Emma comes with me right now for a conversation. A real conversation, without her fake daddy hovering over her. And in exchange, those hypothetical cybersecurity issues never materialize. And if I refuse? I asked, though I already knew the answer. Then by tomorrow morning, you'll be in federal custody, Emma will be back in the system, and I'll have all the time in the world to help her understand where she really belongs. Tyler had played this perfectly. He'd researched my background, identified my vulnerabilities, and crafted a trap that hit from multiple angles. The photos gave him leverage over Emma, the frame job gave him leverage over me, and his father's legal connections provided a safety net. But Tyler had made one crucial miscalculation. He assumed I was just another foster parent who'd fold under pressure. He thought I'd weigh the costs and benefits and decide that Emma wasn't worth the risk. He didn't realize that the moment Emma called me Dad, everything changed. No, I said simply. Tyler blinked. Excuse me. I said no. Emma's not going anywhere with you. Then you're an idiot, Tyler snarled. I just told you what happens if. I heard you. And I'm still saying no. Because here's the thing about being a cybersecurity analyst, you learn to think 3 steps ahead. Tyler's face flushed red. You're making a huge mistake. Maybe. But here's what I know about frame jobs, Tyler, they require time, preparation, and most importantly, they work best when the target doesn't see them coming. I kept my voice calm, conversational even. The fact that you're threatening me with one means you haven't executed it yet. Which means you need something from me first. His confident smirk wavered slightly. See, if you really had the ability to destroy my life with a few keystrokes, you wouldn't be standing here negotiating. You'd have already done it and taken Emma while I was being dragged away in handcuffs. I took a small step forward. Which tells me your leverage isn't quite as solid as you want us to believe. You want to test that theory? Tyler's voice cracked slightly. Actually, I do. I pulled out my own phone. Because here's something interesting about Data Shield Solutions, we monitor our systems in real time. Any unauthorized access attempts, any suspicious file transfers, any anomalous network activity gets flagged immediately. Tyler's eyes narrowed. So if someone was trying to plant files on my work laptop, my security team would have already detected it. And since I haven't gotten any calls today. I shrugged. Either you're bluffing, or you're not as good at this as you think you are. Emma was staring up at me with something that might have been hope. Tyler was starting to look less certain. But let's say you're not bluffing, I continued. Let's say you really do have some technical skills and daddy's connections. You know what else I have? 12 years of experience investigating cybercrime. Friends at the FBI. Contacts at every major tech company in the region. Tyler's jaw tightened. You're trying to scare me. I'm trying to educate you. Because right now, you've committed multiple felonies in front of witnesses. I gestured around the food court, where several people were now openly staring at our confrontation. Stalking, harassment, possession of illegal images of a minor, and now extortion. Your daddy's good, but he's not magic. Those people don't know what they're seeing, Tyler shot back, but his voice lacked its earlier confidence. Maybe not. But mall security does. I nodded toward the security office, where I could see 2 guards talking into their radios. Amazing how quickly they respond when someone reports a man threatening a teenage girl. Tyler followed my gaze and cursed under his breath. This isn't over. You're right. It's not. I stepped closer, and this time he didn't hold his ground. Because here's what's going to happen next, Tyler. You're going to walk away. You're going to delete whatever photos you think you have. And you're going to stay the hell away from my daughter. Your daughter. Tyler laughed, but it sounded forced. She's not your daughter. She's just some damaged foster kid who'll age out of the system in 2 years. You think she'll stick around after that? You think she actually cares about you? Emma's hand found mine. He's wrong, Dad. The word hit different this time. Not desperate or fearful, but certain. Like she'd been testing it out and decided it fit. Tyler saw it too. His face contorted with rage. Fine. You want to play games? Let's play games. He pulled out his phone and started typing furiously. After a moment, he held up the screen so we could see it. It was a social media post with Emma's photo, one I recognized from her school yearbook. The text made my blood run cold. Missing, Emma Patterson, 16, last seen with suspicious older man at Westfield Mall. Family believes she may be in danger. If you see them, do not approach. Call police immediately. Posted to 6 different platforms, Tyler said with satisfaction. Along with your photo and license plate number. Funny how fast things can go viral when people think there's a child in danger. My phone was already buzzing with notifications. My phone buzzed again. Then again. Within 30 seconds, it was a constant stream of notifications as Tyler's post spread across social media like wildfire. You sick bastard, I breathed, watching the shares and comments multiply in real time. Tyler's triumphant grin returned. Amazing how concerned people get about child safety these days. I bet mall security gets a dozen calls in the next 5 minutes. He tilted his head mockingly. Hope you can explain this situation to the police in a way that doesn't sound completely insane. He was right, and we both knew it. Social media vigilante justice was swift and brutal. People would see a teenage girl, an older man, and jump to the worst possible conclusions. The photo he'd used made Emma look younger than 16, and the way he'd cropped it removed any context that might suggest a normal family relationship. Emma was staring at Tyler's phone in horror. People are saying, they're saying Marcus kidnapped me. Because that's what it looks like, babe. Tyler's voice was sickeningly sweet again. Troubled foster kid, creepy older guy who probably has ulterior motives. The narrative writes itself. My mind was racing, calculating options. Every second we stood here, more people were seeing the post. Soon someone would recognize us from the photos and call the police. When they arrived, what would they see? A 16-year-old girl with a man twice her age, in a situation that had clearly escalated into some kind of confrontation. Here's my new offer, Tyler continued. Emma comes with me right now, and I post a follow-up saying it was all a misunderstanding. False alarm. She's safe. His eyes glittered with malice. Or we wait for mall security to show up and see how well your foster parent credentials hold up under this kind of scrutiny. Emma's grip on my hand tightened. What do we do? The smart play was obvious. Let Emma go with Tyler, minimize the immediate damage, fight the legal battle later when we had time to prepare. Cut our losses and hope the system would protect her eventually. But I looked at my daughter, and she was my daughter, regardless of what any paperwork said, and saw the resignation already creeping into her expression. She was preparing to sacrifice herself again, to go with her tormentor to protect me from the consequences. Just like she'd probably done in every foster home before mine. Dad? Her voice was small, defeated. Maybe I should just. No. The word came out harder than I'd intended. Absolutely not. Tyler's eyebrows shot up. You're really going to choose the hard way. Even now. Especially now. I was done playing defense. Time to remind Tyler that cybersecurity analysts don't just protect systems, we attack them too. Because here's what you forgot, you arrogant piece of garbage. You just committed another felony. What are you talking about? Filing a false police report. Posting misleading information designed to trigger emergency response. I held up my own phone, which was already connecting to my company's VPN. But more importantly, you just gave me your social media handles. Tyler's confidence wavered. So what? So now I know exactly where to start digging. My fingers were flying across the screen, accessing tools that Tyler didn't even know existed. Amazing what you can learn about someone when you have their digital footprint and professional-grade penetration software. You can't do that. That's illegal. Is it? I'm not hacking anything. I'm using publicly available information and standard security assessment tools. I glanced up at him. The same tools I use to help companies identify vulnerabilities in their systems. Emma was watching me with fascination and growing hope. Tyler was starting to look genuinely worried. Let's see what we have here, I murmured, pretending to read from my screen. Multiple accounts across 6 platforms, all linked to the same email address. Interesting privacy settings, or rather, lack thereof. Stop, Tyler said, but his voice had lost its commanding edge. Oh, this is very interesting. Looks like someone's been busy online. Very busy. Tyler lunged for my phone. Give me that. I stepped back smoothly, and he stumbled forward, right into the security guard who'd been approaching from behind. Excuse me, folks, the guard said, his hand resting on Tyler's shoulder. We need to talk. The security guard was older, maybe mid-50s, with the kind of steady demeanor that suggested he'd seen every variety of mall drama over the years. His name tag read, Officer Martinez. We've been getting some calls, Martinez said, his eyes moving between Tyler, Emma, and me. Something about a missing child situation. Tyler's expression shifted instantly, morphing from angry to concerned citizen so smoothly it was almost impressive. Officer, thank God you're here. I've been trying to help this girl. He gestured toward Emma. She seemed scared of this man, and when I tried to intervene. That's not true, Emma interrupted, her voice stronger than I expected. This is my dad. Tyler's been stalking me for months. Martinez's hand remained on Tyler's shoulder, but his eyes sharpened as he looked at me. Dad? Foster father, I clarified. Marcus Webb. I have documentation if you need it. He does, Emma added quickly. Tyler's my ex-boyfriend. He's been harassing me even though there are restraining orders. Tyler shook his head with practiced sincerity. Officer, she's confused. Look, I posted online asking for help because I was genuinely concerned for her safety. This man is twice her age, and she seemed distressed. Martinez pulled out a tablet and showed us the screen. Tyler's social media post was right there, complete with hundreds of shares and increasingly agitated comments. This your post, son? Yes, sir. I was trying to help. Funny thing, Martinez said slowly. The timestamp shows you posted this during your conversation with them. Most people call 911 first when they think a child's in immediate danger. Tyler's mask slipped for just a second. I was trying to document the situation. While talking to the alleged kidnapper. Martinez's voice carried a hint of skepticism. That seems like an unusual approach. My phone buzzed with a text from my caseworker at Children's Services. Someone had already called to report the social media post. This was spiraling exactly as Tyler had planned, even with security involved. Officer Martinez, I said carefully, I understand this looks complicated, but I can verify everything. Emma's been in my care for 2 years. Tyler Morrison has been violating restraining orders to contact her. Morrison? Martinez repeated, and something shifted in his expression. Tyler Morrison, from the complaints we've been getting. Tyler went very still. You know him? Emma asked. Martinez nodded grimly. Mall securities had to remove Mr. Morrison from the premises 4 times in the past 2 months. He was banned after following a young employee into the stockroom at the bookstore. His grip on Tyler's shoulder tightened. That employee matched your description, miss. That was a misunderstanding, Tyler said quickly. Emma works there. I was just trying to talk to her. After being told repeatedly to stay away, Martinez said. By her manager, and by mall security. Emma looked up at me with relief, but I could see the situation was still precarious. Tyler's social media post was still spreading, and my phone kept buzzing with increasingly frantic messages. Even with Martinez on our side, we weren't out of the woods. Here's what's going to happen, Martinez continued. Mr. Morrison, you're coming with me to the security office. We need to discuss your banned status and this social media situation. Tyler's composure finally cracked. You can't do this. My father will have your job. Do you know who I am? I know exactly who you are, Martinez replied. You're the kid whose daddy keeps getting him out of trouble. But mall property has its own rules. As Martinez began leading Tyler away, Tyler twisted back to look at us, his expression pure venom. This isn't over, Emma. You can't hide behind daddy forever. The threat hit like ice water, because we all knew he was right. After Martinez disappeared with Tyler into the security office, Emma and I stood in a food court surrounded by curious stares and whispered conversations. My phone was still buzzing constantly. Tyler's post had taken on a life of its own. We should go, Emma said quietly, noticing the attention we were drawing. She was right. Even with Tyler temporarily detained, his social media campaign was working exactly as intended. I could see people glancing between us and their phones, trying to match our faces to the missing child post that was probably showing up in their feeds. As we walked toward the exit, my phone rang. Data Shield Solutions. My boss. Marcus. Jim's voice was tight with concern. What the hell is going on? HR just called me about some social media thing involving you and a kidnapping. My stomach dropped. It's a false accusation, Jim. Someone's trying to. I don't care what it is. Company policy is crystal clear about employees being involved in anything that generates negative publicity. You need to get this sorted out, fast. Understood. And Marcus? Until this gets resolved, you're on administrative leave. Security clearance suspended pending investigation. The line went dead. Emma had heard every word. They can't fire you because of lies, she said, but her voice lacked conviction. They can and they will if this doesn't get cleared up quickly. I was trying to calculate how long Tyler could be held by mall security, how fast his father's lawyers would mobilize, how many more dominoes would fall before we could stop them. Tyler's smarter than I gave him credit for. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number, parking garage. Level B2. Come alone or the photos go public in 1 hour. T. Emma saw my expression change. What is it? I showed her the message. Her face went pale. How is he texting? Isn't he in the security office? That's when I realized Tyler's most dangerous quality wasn't his technical skills or his father's connections, it was his ability to think ahead. He'd probably given Martinez exactly what he needed to avoid serious trouble while maintaining his ability to continue the game. Another text arrived, Daddy's lawyers work fast. I'm free and you have 58 minutes. Don't disappoint me. Then a third message that made my blood run cold. It was a photo, clearly taken from outside our house this morning. Emma getting into my car for our trip to the mall, completely unaware she was being watched. He was there this morning, Emma whispered. He watched us leave. Which means he knows we're not home, I realized with growing dread. A fourth text confirmed my worst fear, hope you don't have anything valuable in that house. Would hate for someone to break in while you're busy playing mall cop. Emma grabbed my arm. Our house. All my stuff, your computers. Everything clicked into place. The mall confrontation wasn't Tyler's endgame, it was a distraction. While we were here dealing with social media posts and security guards, Tyler or his associates could be at our house planting evidence, stealing sensitive information, or worse. My work laptop was there. Emma's personal documents. 2 years' worth of photos and memories from our life together. We have to go home, Emma said urgently. That's exactly what he wants. The parking garage is probably a trap. Then what do we do? I was still trying to formulate an answer when Martinez appeared, looking grim. He's gone, the security guard said. His father's attorneys showed up with paperwork faster than I've ever seen. Kid walked out 5 minutes ago. Tyler Morrison had just demonstrated that he could manipulate law enforcement, destroy my career, and threaten our home all in the span of an hour. And he was just getting started. The drive home was the longest 20 minutes of my life. Emma sat rigid in the passenger seat, both of us checking every mirror for signs we were being followed. My phone had finally stopped buzzing, Tyler's post was still spreading, but the initial wave of notifications had died down to a steady stream of career-ending background noise. Dad, Emma said quietly as we turned onto our street, what if he's still there? I'd been wondering the same thing. Tyler was reckless but not stupid. Breaking into our house while we were gone was one thing, getting caught there when we returned was another level of risk entirely. Stay in the car until I check, I told her, pulling into our driveway. No way. We stick together. Looking at my daughter's determined expression, I realized she was right. Splitting up was exactly what Tyler would want. The front door was still locked, deadbolt engaged exactly as I'd left it. But something felt wrong. Call it paranoia or experience, but after 12 years in cybersecurity, you develop instincts about when systems have been compromised. Kitchen window, Emma whispered, pointing. She was right. The window that had been closed this morning was now open about 2 inches. Just enough for someone to slip a tool through, manipulate the lock, and gain entry. My phone buzzed with another text from Tyler, welcome home. Hope you like what I've done with the place. Emma saw the message over my shoulder. He's watching us right now. I scanned the street, looking for occupied cars, unfamiliar faces, anything out of place. Our neighborhood was quiet, typical for a Tuesday afternoon. Most people were at work, kids were at school. Perfect conditions for someone to observe us undetected. We're going to walk through that front door together, I said, trying to project confidence I didn't feel. Document everything. Take photos. Whatever he did, we're going to build a case that even Daddy's lawyers can't dismiss. The house felt violated the moment we stepped inside. Nothing was obviously out of place, but there were subtle signs of intrusion. A book moved slightly on the coffee table. The computer chair positioned differently than I'd left it. Emma's bedroom door open when she always kept it closed. My room, Emma breathed, heading for the stairs. Wait. I caught her arm. Photos first. Evidence. We moved through the house methodically, documenting everything with our phones. The violations were small but deliberate, personal items moved just enough to send a message. Tyler wanted us to know he'd been here, touching our belongings, invading our space. It wasn't until we reached my home office that we found the real damage. My computer was still there, but the tower had been opened. Cables disconnected and reconnected. Hard drives that had been secure that morning were now easily accessible. He copied everything, I said, staring at the evidence of professional-grade surveillance equipment. Files, photos, personal documents, work materials. Emma was examining my desk. Dad, look at this. A printed photo lay face down on my keyboard. When I turned it over, my blood turned to ice. It was Emma sleeping in her bed, taken through her bedroom window. But this wasn't from Tyler's earlier collection, the timestamp showed it was from last night. While we were both home, feeling safe in our own house, this psychopath had been outside photographing my daughter. He's been watching us every night, Emma said, her voice barely controlled. How long has he been doing this? Before I could answer, my phone rang. Unknown number. Answer it, Emma said. Put it on speaker. Tyler's voice filled the room, sickeningly cheerful. Hope you're enjoying my housewarming gifts. I tried to be respectful, but you've got some really interesting files on those hard drives. What do you want? I kept my voice steady. Same thing I've always wanted. Emma comes home where she belongs, and you disappear from our lives forever. His tone shifted, becoming businesslike. But the terms have changed. See, I've got copies of everything now. Your work files, your personal documents, some very interesting photos of Emma that I'm sure CPS would love to review. Emma's face went white. What photos? Normal family photos, Tyler said with mock innocence. Father-daughter bonding time. Beach trips, pool parties, her in that cute sundress from last summer. Perfectly innocent pictures that could look very different with the right context and commentary. He was talking about weaponizing normal moments between us, twisting everyday interactions into something sinister. It was psychological warfare at its most insidious. You're sick, Emma whispered. I'm motivated, Tyler corrected. And I'm done playing games. You have 24 hours to pack your things and meet me. Location to be determined. If you don't show up, or if Daddy tries any more heroics, those photos go public along with a very detailed story about inappropriate relationships in the foster care system. Emma's not going anywhere with you, I said. Tyler laughed. You still don't get it, do you? This isn't a negotiation anymore. It's a countdown. 24 hours, Marcus. Tick-tock. The line went dead, leaving us standing in our violated home, surrounded by evidence of how completely Tyler had outmaneuvered us. And somewhere in the growing darkness outside, he was still watching. The silence after Tyler hung up felt suffocating. Emma and I stood in my violated office, staring at the evidence of how thoroughly he'd invaded our lives. 24 hours. The deadline echoed in my head like a countdown to disaster. We need to call the police, Emma said, but her voice lacked conviction. With what evidence? He was careful not to explicitly threaten violence, and breaking and entering is hard to prove when nothing was actually stolen. I gestured at my computer setup. Any halfway decent lawyer will argue he had permission to be here, or that we can't prove it was him. Emma sank into my desk chair, looking smaller than her 16 years. So he just wins. After everything. That's when something crystallized in my mind. Tyler had been playing offense this entire time, keeping us reactive and defensive. He'd studied my background, identified my weaknesses, and systematically exploited them. But he'd made one crucial error. He assumed I'd keep playing defense. No, I said, moving to my backup laptop. He doesn't win. But we're done playing by his rules. What are you doing? What I should have done from the beginning. My fingers flew across the keyboard, accessing secure networks and databases that Tyler probably didn't even know existed. Fighting back. Emma leaned forward as code began streaming across my screen. Is this legal? Everything I'm doing right now is completely above board. I'm using legitimate security tools to investigate potential cybercrimes. A grim smile crossed my face. The beauty of working in cybersecurity is that you have access to resources that regular people can only dream of. Tyler had given me his social media handles during his gloating session at the mall. What he didn't realize was that those handles were just the beginning of a digital trail that someone with my skills could follow anywhere. Got something, I muttered, pulling up Tyler's digital footprint. Your boyfriend's been busy online. Very busy. Emma moved behind my chair to see the screen. What am I looking at? Tyler's real social media presence. Not the cleaned-up version his father's PR team maintains. I highlighted several accounts. 3 different personas across multiple platforms, all linked through metadata and posting patterns. The accounts painted a disturbing picture. Tyler Morrison wasn't just a lovesick teenager who couldn't take no for an answer. He was a serial predator who'd been targeting young women for years. Jesus, Emma whispered, reading over my shoulder. There are other girls. At least 6 that I can identify. All between 15 and 17. All with similar stories about harassment, stalking, and intimidation. I cross-referenced the accounts with public records. And look at this timeline. The pattern was clear. Tyler would fixate on a girl, escalate his behavior until it became unbearable, then suddenly move on to a new target. The cycles lasted anywhere from 3 to 8 months. Why did he move on? Emma asked. What made them different from me? I kept digging, pulling together police reports, school disciplinary records, and social media posts. The answer emerged gradually, and it made my stomach turn. Their families had resources, I said quietly. Money, connections, legal representation that could match his father's firm. They fought back effectively, so he found easier targets. Emma was quiet for a long moment. Until me. Until you. Foster kid with no family support system, minimal resources, and a history of not being believed by authority figures. I turned to face her. He thought you were perfect prey. But I have you now, she said, and the simple trust in her voice made my chest tight. Yeah. You do. I turned back to the computer. And Tyler's about to learn what happens when he targets the wrong family. My phone buzzed with a new message from Tyler. Stop digging, Marcus. You won't like what you find. I smiled and kept typing. Too late for that. My fingers froze over the keyboard. How the hell did Tyler know I was investigating him? Dad? Emma noticed my expression. What's wrong? Before I could answer, another message appeared. Nice laptop. The backup one with the webcam you forgot to disable. Smile. Ice shot through my veins. I slammed the laptop shut and spun around, scanning my office for any other surveillance equipment Tyler might have planted. The violation felt complete now. He wasn't just watching our house from outside anymore. He was inside our systems, monitoring our every move in real time. He's been watching us this whole time, Emma whispered, backing away from the closed laptop like it might bite her. Not anymore. I disconnected the power cable and pulled out my phone. But this changes everything. He's not just some rich kid with daddy issues, he's got serious technical skills. My phone rang immediately. Tyler, of course. Having second thoughts about playing detective? His voice was smug, satisfied. See, this is what happens when amateurs try to run with the professionals. Professional? I kept my voice steady despite the rage building in my chest. You're a stalker with a computer science degree and daddy's money. I'm someone who's very good at getting what he wants. And what I want is currently standing right next to you, probably wondering how deep this rabbit hole really goes. Emma grabbed the phone from my hand before I could stop her. Tyler, you sick freak, how long have you been spying on us? Emma. God, I've missed hearing your voice without all the interference. Tyler's tone shifted to that nauseating fake sweetness. To answer your question, long enough to know that Daddy's been working very hard to dig up dirt on me. Unfortunately for both of you, I've been working harder. What's that supposed to mean? I demanded, taking the phone back. Check your email, Marcus. The one from your HR department should be particularly interesting. My blood turned cold. I grabbed my personal phone and opened my work email. There it was, a message from Data Shield's Director of Human Resources, sent just minutes ago. Subject, immediate security review required. Asterisk Mr. Webb, we've received concerning information regarding potential misuse of company resources for personal matters. Effective immediately, your access to all Data Shield systems has been suspended pending a full investigation. Please report to HR first thing tomorrow morning, asterisk. You bastard, I breathed. Oh, that's just the appetizer, Tyler continued cheerfully. I've also sent some very interesting documentation to Child Protective Services. Turns out there are a lot of people concerned about Emma's welfare after seeing today's social media posts. Emma went pale. What kind of documentation? The kind that raises questions about whether Marcus is really the stable father figure he pretends to be. Financial irregularities, concerning online activity, that sort of thing. Tyler's voice took on a mock-serious tone. Amazing how guilty innocent things can look with the right presentation. My mind raced through the implications. Tyler had spent months preparing for this moment, building a comprehensive attack on every aspect of our lives. He wasn't just trying to isolate Emma, he was systematically destroying any support system she might have. The beautiful thing about bureaucracy, Tyler continued, is that once an investigation starts, it takes on a life of its own. Even if Marcus eventually gets cleared, and that's a big if, the process takes months. Where do you think you'll be living while CPS sorts everything out, Emma? This is kidnapping, I said through gritted teeth. You're using coercion and threats too. I'm using the system exactly as designed. All perfectly legal, all completely documented. Tyler's satisfaction was obvious. Your move, Marcus. But choose carefully, you're running out of pieces on the board. The line went dead, leaving Emma and me staring at each other in the wreckage of our carefully built life together. Outside, a car door slammed. Emma rushed to the window. "Dad," she said, her voice tight with fear, "there's a CPS van in our driveway." Tyler's 24-hour deadline had just become irrelevant. The endgame was happening right now. The knock on our front door was professional, measured, and absolutely terrifying. Through the window, I could see two people in business attire standing on our porch, a middle-aged woman with a tablet and a younger man who looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. "Mr. Webb. This is Sarah Chen from Child Protective Services. We need to speak with you and Emma immediately." Emma's hand found mine, her grip tight enough to cut off circulation. "What do we do?" "We answer the door and handle this professionally," I said, trying to project calm I didn't feel. "Tyler may have started this, but we're not guilty of anything." The woman introduced herself as a senior case worker while her colleague, David, remained mostly silent, taking notes on everything we said. Sarah's demeanor was polite but clinical, and I could see her cataloging details about our home, our interaction, our emotional states. "We've received some concerning reports regarding Emma's welfare," Sarah began, settling into our living room like she owned the place. "Multiple sources have raised questions about the appropriateness of this placement." "Multiple sources?" I repeated. "Can you be more specific?" Sarah consulted her tablet. Anonymous tips through our hotline, social media reports, and detailed documentation from someone claiming to be a concerned family friend. Her eyes moved between Emma and me. "There are also allegations of potential security breaches involving classified information and inappropriate use of work resources." My stomach dropped. Tyler hadn't just attacked us randomly, he'd crafted a multi-pronged assault designed to hit every vulnerability in the foster care system. Anonymous tips were nearly impossible to trace, social media reports seemed credible to overworked caseworkers, and the family friend designation gave his accusations weight they didn't deserve. "The person making these claims," I said carefully, "is Tyler Morrison. He's been stalking Emma for months in violation of multiple restraining orders." "We're aware of Mr. Morrison," Sarah replied, which surprised me. "However, his allegations require investigation regardless of his relationship with Emma." Emma leaned forward. "He broke into our house today. He's been taking pictures of me sleeping, threatening to hurt Marcus if I don't go back to him." David looked up from his notepad. "Do you have evidence of these break-ins?" He moved things around, accessed my computer. "But you don't have video surveillance? Photos of actual forced entry?" Sarah's questions were clinically precise. Physical evidence that would hold up in court. She was right, and we all knew it. Tyler had been careful to leave just enough evidence to terrorize us without providing anything that would definitively prove criminal activity. Meanwhile, his accusations against me would trigger mandatory investigations that could take weeks to resolve. "Here's what's going to happen," Sarah continued. "Emma, you'll need to come with us tonight while we conduct our preliminary investigation. This is standard protocol when there are credible concerns about a placement." "No." The word came out harder than I intended. "Emma's safe here." Taking her away plays directly into her stalker's hands. "Mr. Webb, I understand your frustration, but we have protocols for a reason." Sarah's voice remained professionally neutral. "The temporary removal ensures Emma's safety while we investigate these allegations." Emma's grip on my hand tightened. "Where would I go?" "We have emergency placement options. It would only be for a few days while." "A few days?" Emma's voice cracked. Tyler could do anything in a few days. He could make more fake evidence, manipulate more people, disappear completely. That's when my phone buzzed with a text message. "Tyler, of course. The timing couldn't be coincidental. Missing Emma yet?" "Don't worry, I know exactly where CPS takes kids for emergency placement. Funny how easy it is to get visitor schedules when you know the right people." I showed the message to Sarah, whose expression finally shifted from professional neutrality to genuine concern. "That's a direct threat," she said, screenshotting the text. "It's also proof that removing Emma isn't keeping her safe," I pointed out. "It's delivering her exactly where Tyler wants her." David whispered something to Sarah, who nodded grimly. "Mr. Webb, Emma, we may have a bigger problem than we initially realized." Sarah Chen's expression had shifted from bureaucratic efficiency to genuine alarm as she studied Tyler's text message. David was typing furiously on his tablet, cross-referencing something in their system. "Mr. Webb," Sarah said slowly, "how much do you know about Tyler Morrison's family connections?" "His father's a lawyer. Gets him out of trouble regularly." I felt Emma tense beside me. "Why?" David looked up from his tablet, his face pale. "Because Morrison and Associates doesn't just handle criminal defense. They're one of the primary legal firms contracted by the state for child welfare cases." The words hit like a physical blow. Emma made a small, choked sound. "That's impossible," I said, but even as the words left my mouth, I knew it wasn't. It was brilliant. Terrifyingly, systematically brilliant. Sarah was scrolling through her tablet with growing urgency. "David's right. Richard Morrison's firm has handled dozens of CPS cases over the past 5 years. Emergency placements, custody disputes, appeals processes." She paused, her finger hovering over the screen. "Including providing legal oversight for several of our emergency foster facilities." Emma stood up abruptly, pacing to the window. "He's been planning this for months. Every move, every backup plan." Her voice was hollow with realization. He knew exactly which buttons to push because his family helped design the system. My mind was racing through the implications. Tyler hadn't just been stalking Emma, he'd been studying the entire foster care infrastructure, identifying choke points and vulnerabilities. The anonymous tips, the social media campaign, even the timing of today's confrontation had all been calculated to funnel Emma into a system his family partially controlled. "Sarah," I said urgently, "if you take Emma into emergency placement tonight, Tyler will know exactly where she is within hours. His father's firm probably has access to placement records. That would be a serious breach of confidentiality." "You think Tyler cares about professional ethics?" Emma spun around from the window. "He's been photographing me sleeping, breaking into our house, threatening to destroy my dad's career. You think he's going to respect bureaucratic boundaries?" Sarah exchanged a look with David, and I could see them recalculating everything they'd walked into tonight. This wasn't a standard welfare check anymore, it was something much more dangerous. My phone buzzed again. Another message from Tyler, tick-tock. CPS protocols are so predictable. Emergency placement at Riverside Group Home should be cozy. I'll make sure to visit during standard hours. Jesus Christ, David muttered, reading over my shoulder. He's not even pretending to hide it anymore. Sarah stood up, her professional composure cracking. I need to make some calls. This situation is way above my authorization level. She moved toward our kitchen for privacy, her voice already shifting into the rapid-fire cadence of someone reporting an emergency to supervisors. Emma sank back onto the couch beside me, her face buried in her hands. I should just go with him. End this before he destroys your entire life. Absolutely not. Dad, look around. He's winning. Your job, our home, the foster care system, he's systematically dismantling everything. She looked up at me with tears in her eyes. I won't let him destroy you to get to me. That's not your choice to make, I said firmly. You're my daughter. That means I protect you, not the other way around. Sarah returned from the kitchen, her expression grim. My supervisor is contacting the state attorney general's office. If the Morrison firm has been compromising child welfare cases, this becomes a federal investigation. How long will that take? I asked. Days. Maybe weeks. Emma and I looked at each other. We both knew Tyler wouldn't wait weeks for the bureaucracy to sort itself out. There's something else, Sarah continued reluctantly. My supervisor ran Tyler Morrison's name through our system. He's been flagged in connection with 3 other cases over the past 2 years. Different girls, different circumstances, but the pattern. She didn't need to finish. We all understood what she was saying. Tyler Morrison wasn't just obsessed with Emma. He was a predator with a system. And tomorrow, that system was going to help him win. Sarah's revelation hung in the air like a death sentence. 3 other girls. 3 other families Tyler had systematically destroyed using the same playbook he was running on us. What happened to them? Emma's voice was barely a whisper. Sarah consulted her tablet, her expression growing darker. One aged out of the system before the investigation concluded. Another was moved out of state when her foster family couldn't handle the pressure. The third. She paused. The third recanted her allegations and went back to Morrison voluntarily. Went back. I felt sick. You mean he won? We think she was coerced, but we couldn't prove it. Morrison's legal team made sure of that. David was still typing furiously. There's more. I'm seeing financial irregularities in all 3 cases. Emergency placement costs, legal fees, administrative processing. Someone was making money off the chaos Morrison created. The scope of Tyler's operation was becoming clear. This wasn't just stalking, it was a systematic exploitation of vulnerable kids and the people who tried to protect them. Tyler got his victims, his family's law firm collected fees from the state, and the system itself provided cover for the whole sick enterprise. We have to run, Emma said suddenly. Pack up and disappear before. Running makes you look guilty, Sarah interrupted. And with the Morrison firm's connections, they'd find you anyway. You'd just be giving them more ammunition. My phone rang. Data Shield Solutions again. My boss Jim's number. Don't answer it, Emma said. Whatever Tyler did, it's just going to make things worse. But I knew avoiding the call would only escalate things. Marcus Webb. Marcus, what the hell is going on over there? Jim's voice was strained. I just got off the phone with the FBI. They're asking questions about your access to classified client data, unauthorized system monitoring, possible corporate espionage. My blood turned to ice. Jim, none of that is true. Someone's orchestrating this too. I don't care if it's true or not. The company can't be associated with this kind of investigation. Your employment is terminated effective immediately. Security will be by to collect your equipment. The line went dead. Emma was staring at me with growing horror. He got you fired, she said. He destroyed my security clearance too, I realized. Without that, I can't work anywhere in the industry. He didn't just take my job, he killed my entire career. Sarah was watching this unfold with the grim fascination of someone witnessing a masterclass in systematic destruction. The Morrison family doesn't just win cases, she said quietly. They dismantle opposition. A new text from Tyler arrived, hope you're enjoying your severance package. Don't worry about money though, Emma won't need much where she's going. David looked up from his tablet, his face pale. We have a problem. I just got word from my supervisor. The emergency placement I was going to arrange. It's been blocked. Someone filed an injunction claiming Emma's in immediate danger from her current placement. Let me guess, I said bitterly. Morrison and Associates filed the paperwork. How did you know? Emma stood up abruptly. Because Tyler's not just playing chess. He's playing 4-dimensional chess while we're still figuring out which pieces are ours. Sarah's phone buzzed. She read the message and cursed under her breath. My supervisor just got pulled into an emergency meeting with state officials. Someone's alleging that our entire regional office has been compromised by this investigation. The beautiful, terrifying symmetry of Tyler's plan was becoming clear. Every move we made to protect Emma triggered countermoves that isolated us further. Every official channel we tried to use had been anticipated and neutralized. Tyler wasn't just attacking us, he was attacking the entire system's ability to help us. There's something else, David said reluctantly. The Morrison firm just filed a motion claiming Emma's been brainwashed against Tyler. They're requesting immediate psychiatric evaluation and potential deprogramming. Emma went white. Deprogramming? What does that even mean? I knew exactly what it meant, and it made my stomach turn. In the wrong hands, psychiatric evaluation could become indefinite detention. Emma could disappear into the system for weeks or months while experts determined whether her fear of Tyler was rational or the result of my manipulation. They're going to lock me up, Emma whispered. Make me disappear until I'm so broken down that going back to Tyler seems like relief. My phone buzzed one final time. Tyler's message was just 2 words, checkmate, Dad. The room fell silent except for the sound of Emma's ragged breathing. Sarah and David exchanged looks that told me they'd never encountered anything like this before. Tyler Morrison hadn't just outmaneuvered us, he'd weaponized the entire child protection system against the child it was supposed to protect. There has to be something we can do, I said, but even I could hear the desperation in my voice. Sarah was still scrolling through her tablet, looking for options that didn't exist. The psychiatric evaluation order is broad enough that they could hold Emma for 72 hours minimum, potentially longer if they claim she's a danger to herself. Based on what evidence? Based on her irrational fear of a concerned former boyfriend and her inappropriate attachment to an unsuitable foster parent, David read from his screen. Morrison's team has been building this narrative for months. Emma was pacing again, her movements sharp and agitated. So what happens now? You take me away, they evaluate me, and Tyler gets visitation rights because he's a concerned party. The sick thing was, that's exactly what would happen. I could see it playing out, Emma isolated in a psychiatric facility, vulnerable and alone, while Tyler presented himself as the stable, caring boyfriend trying to help his troubled girlfriend. His family's legal team would ensure he had access, and Emma would be trapped with no way to call for help. I won't go, Emma said suddenly. I'll run before I let them lock me up. Emma, if you run, it proves their point, Sarah said gently. It validates their claims about your mental state. And if I don't run, I end up drugged and helpless while Tyler convinces everyone I'm crazy. Emma's voice was rising with panic. At least if I run, I have a chance. My phone rang again. Tyler, naturally. This time I put it on speaker without hesitation. Hi Emma, Tyler's voice filled the room. I can hear you're upset. It doesn't have to be this way, you know. Go to hell, Emma snarled. Such language. See, this is exactly the kind of concerning behavior my father's psychiatric experts will need to address. Tyler's tone was maddeningly calm. But I'm not unreasonable. I'm prepared to make you a deal. We're not interested in any deals, I said. Oh, but you should be. Because I'm offering to make all of this go away. The CPS investigation, the psychiatric evaluation, even Marcus's little career problems. All of it disappears if Emma agrees to one simple conversation. Sarah was frantically gesturing for us not to engage, but Emma was staring at the phone with desperate hope. What kind of conversation? Emma asked. Private. Just you and me. 1 hour. If after that hour you still want to stay with Marcus, I'll back off completely. Drop all the charges, withdraw all the complaints, even get Daddy to make sure Marcus gets his job back. You're lying, I said. Am I? Think about it logically, Marcus. Right now I'm spending enormous resources maintaining this pressure campaign. If Emma chooses me freely, I don't need any of it anymore. Emma was actually considering it. I could see it in her face, the terrible calculus of sacrificing herself to save everyone else. And if she doesn't choose you after this conversation? I demanded. Tyler's pause was just long enough to be terrifying. Well, let's hope it doesn't come to that. But Emma's smart. I think she'll make the right choice. Where? Emma asked, her voice hollow. Emma, no, I said urgently. Whatever he's planning. Tomorrow night. The old pier at Riverside Park. Midnight. Tyler's satisfaction was audible. Come alone, obviously. And Emma? Don't keep me waiting. My patience isn't infinite. The line went dead, leaving us with an impossible choice and less than 24 hours to make it. The pier at Riverside Park was exactly as isolated as Tyler had intended, a crumbling wooden structure extending into dark water, surrounded by overgrown trees that blocked any view from the main road. As Emma and I approached at 11:45 p.m., I could see Tyler's silhouette waiting at the far end, backlit by the pale moonlight reflecting off the water. Remember the plan, I whispered to Emma. Keep him talking. Let him think he's winning. Emma nodded, her face set with grim determination. What if the signal doesn't work? It'll work. Sarah's team is in position. We'd spent the past 24 hours turning Tyler's own playbook against him. While he'd been savoring his apparent victory, Sarah had connected us with FBI agents who specialized in cybercrimes and predatory behavior. The revelation that Tyler was part of a systematic exploitation ring had elevated this from a local stalking case to a federal investigation. More importantly, Tyler's demand for a midnight meeting at an isolated location had finally given us the criminal intent we needed to prove in court. Right on time, Tyler called out as we approached. Though I did say Emma should come alone. I'm her father, I replied, stopping about 10 feet away. I go where she goes. Tyler's smile was sharp in the moonlight. Not for much longer. Emma's made her choice, haven't you, babe? Emma stepped forward, her voice steady despite what I knew she was feeling inside. I want to hear your offer. No lawyers, no games. Just tell me what you actually want. What I've always wanted. You. Tyler moved closer, and I could see the manic gleam in his eyes. We belong together, Emma. Everything I've done, all the planning, all the pressure, it was to make you see that. By destroying my family. By threatening to have me locked up. Emma's voice carried just the right amount of wavering fear. That's not love, Tyler. That's obsession. It's dedication. Tyler's mask slipped, revealing the rage underneath. Do you have any idea what I've sacrificed for you? The resources I've spent. I've dismantled your entire life piece by piece to prove that you need me. Prove it how? Emma pressed. By showing me that you can hurt anyone who cares about me. Tyler laughed, the sound echoing off the water. Exactly. Marcus thought he could protect you, but look at him now. No job, no security clearance, facing federal investigation. I can destroy anyone who tries to take you from me. Including the other girls. I interjected. Sarah Martinez, Jennifer Chen, Amanda Ross. You destroyed their families too. Tyler's expression shifted to something predatory. They weren't strong enough. Emma's different. She's worth the effort. Worth driving 3 teenagers into psychiatric facilities. Worth exploiting the foster care system? I took a step forward. Worth ruining innocent people's lives? Worth everything, Tyler snarled. And if you think recording this conversation is going to help you, think again. My father's team will have any evidence suppressed before it reaches court. That's when Emma smiled, the first genuine smile I'd seen from her in days. Who said anything about recording? She asked, pulling out her phone. We're live streaming. Say hello to the 3,000 people watching this right now, including FBI agents, CPS supervisors, and several journalists. Tyler went white. You can't, that's illegal. Actually, it's completely legal in a public space, I said, watching his world crumble in real time. Especially when you're confessing to federal crimes. The sound of approaching sirens filled the night air. Sarah Chen emerged from the tree line with 2 FBI agents, their badges gleaming in the moonlight. Tyler Morrison, Sarah called out, you're under arrest. As they led Tyler away in handcuffs, he screamed threats and promises that his father would fix everything. But we all knew better now. The live stream had been watched by too many people, recorded by too many devices. There was no covering this up. Emma leaned against my shoulder as we watched the police cars disappear into the night. Is it really over, Dad? Yeah, I said, wrapping my arm around my daughter. It's really over. For the first time in months, we were finally safe to go home.